Hi, I'm back. This is, I guess, would be considered part two of my in-bed blog for 596. I had, like I said in the video, about my medical condition. Then I just, I scrambled to put the video up real quick, and I was playing it back, and then I noticed the second part of it. I think about 10 minutes were left in it that didn't have any sound. And then I thought about taking it down and then editing again, but I think that's going to just take too much time, and I can get this video up real quick as a companion piece. Like I was saying in my video, I want to fight this diagnosis and do the best that I can to live with this diagnosis. Like I said, I think my friend at work, I don't know if I mentioned this in the first part of that video. My friend at work, he has diabetes. He would talk about time to time about checking his sugar in the morning and just to see what it was and stuff. Because I think my brother has not my I knew my brother has, but I think my friend at work, his name is Gary, and he has I think he has diabetes as well. I think he lives with it too. So I'm going to talk with him probably tomorrow. This is a conversation that I've been kind of dreading not to have it with him. These are my friends and stuff, and I've been mostly talking with my family to discuss everything that's happening with myself and my diagnosis and stuff. Like I said, my youngest brother has it. And he's been living with it for over 25 years. And my stepfather, who lives with me, he's a great source of because he has it as well, and he takes and he knows how to, and I have him help me, take my blood sugar count, and I'm keeping it in the book. So when I actually eventually see the specialist, I can have a record to show him, and he can track and see. And I'm hoping, because my sister was telling me that my blood sugar should get below 200, and it hasn't yet. Although it has gone down and stuff. Like last night, I think it was like 300 and something. And then I took my medicine, went to bed, and then I woke up in the morning. It was like 240 something, and so it dropped a lot. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm taking my medicine and drinking water when I can. And like I said, I've changed the way I eat. I'm not eating none of the fast food that I ate before, and none of the no honey buns, none of that, potato chips, nothing. I'm trying to eat rationally, and I'm constantly looking up stuff on my phone to see what stuff is good enough to eat and what's good enough to snack on in between meals. Because they said pistachios and walnuts and nuts in general are good to snack on in between meals and stuff, which I think is a good source of inspiration. And also, I know there's only a certain cereal that you can eat and stuff, but you got to be careful about the portions and stuff. And this is the stuff that I want to talk to the doctor about. Okay, so he hopefully like him and because I know they're gonna have. I think one of the doctors is supposed to be like I think a nutritionist, and they'll talk to me about what I can eat and what I can't eat and portions and all that stuff. So maybe there's like books and stuff that I can get that will teach me, what can I eat and what I can't eat. And I also noticed that I think Costco. My sister has a Costco card, and my brother. I think they share a Costco card, and I think they have like a lot of meals that you can eat that are diabetic focused, so you can eat meals that are. And like I said, I ordered a bunch of healthy meals from Amazon. They came this morning, and I have them in my refrigerator. I ate one just a little while ago, around 9:30ish. So like I said, it's just turned 10 o'clock, and I'm just gonna try to get this part of the video up. And again, I'll make a post about it. And again, I apologize for the first part of the video, because actually that video I actually recorded on Friday. Excuse me, on Friday, when I decided to, just before my stepfather cooked for me, I decided to sit down and talk in front of the camera and let people know, because that's why I haven't done my reaction to The Boys episode 5 and 6. I may do that tomorrow. It's just that I've been primarily focused on my diagnosis and making sure I eat right. I want to make sure, that's been kind of my primary focus. And again, I apologize for not doing this, but once I, visit the doctor, and I do have another appointment with the doctor on Wednesday. My I actually have two appointments. I have an appointment on the 22nd with my primary doctor, and I think he's supposed to give me a referral. Although I may not see that primary doctor, depending on the specialist. Um, Hopefully they can give me appointments. Hopefully either this week or early next week. And like I said, I'm feeling better physically, where I'm not peeing all the time. That was a big thing that led to me going to the doctor, then going ultimately to urologist, and ultimately going to the hospital because I was, like I said, I noticed like I think early in April I was going to the bathroom like every hour on the hour. I was literally doing that, and that was actually when I would leave to go to go home. As soon as I got, I would pee like I normally do before I leave my job, and then when I got home, on like a 45-minute ride later, I would immediately have an urge to go again. So it was like constant. It was a constant. And then plus when I was sleeping at night, because normally I would just wake up once during the night, to urinate, and then get back into bed and and go to sleep. But this time I kept getting up like two, three. I think one night I got up like I think four times. Like I was getting up every hour on the hour, and it was just really frustrating. And I just knew, I said I gotta go see a urologist, and I made an appointment and I went to see him last week, and he ran me through the battery test. He said my kidneys are okay. Uh, he said you do have an enlarged bladder and stuff, and he took blood stuff, and he's supposed to give me the results of the blood test next week, this week. So I'm kind of I have to talk to him too. I'm gonna talk to him on Monday and call him on Monday. I'm gonna take off from work Monday because, like I said, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling stronger in terms of not feeling weak. Because, like I said, I tried to go to work on Friday because I went to the doctor. I left my job Wednesday to go to the hospital, and that's when I got diagnosed. And then I took off Thursday so I can pick up the medicine and the kit to to test my blood and stuff. And I was planning on going to work on Friday, and I got up and on Friday I slept good Thursday night into Friday morning, and I got dressed, and then I started walking to work. And then by the time I got to the subway, again, like I said, it's like a 5 to 6 minute, 7 minute walk. By the time I got to the train station, I was perspiring and sweating. So I said, listen, I got to go back home. I'm not going to make it to it. So let me go back home. And I went back to the doc. I got home with my stepfather here and had him test my blood, and it was like over 300 and stuff. So I said, let me go back to the hospital because I called the number they gave me on my discharge papers. And they said, yeah, I told them what my blood sugar count. They said, yeah, come back in. And I went back in on Friday morning, and they gave me some fluids. I think they got my blood count back down to 216, and then they fed me because I didn't eat anything. They fed me. Then I came back home. My brother came by the hospital to see me. My brother that's in a wheelchair, he came by the hospital to see me, which he didn't have to do that. And I'm really grateful that I have a good support system. And I talked to my sisters. Like I said, my sister my older sister that works in the healthcare industry, she has given me words of encouragement. And then my older sister, I talked to her for about an hour today, which was that's probably the longest I've talked to her in a long time. So that was good to do. And I've talked to my other brothers, my two younger brothers, and I've talked to my youngest brother who's lived with diabetes. I'm gonna be leaning on him a lot because he knows a lot about because he's lived with it for like 25 years and stuff with diabetes. So I'm hoping, like I said, fingers crossed that this I will, like I said, I adjusted my way of eating already, since that she told me on Wednesday that I have to adjust my way of eating, keep myself hydrated. And since I've been taking the medicine, I haven't, in the last few days, I haven't had the dry mouth. I think I had did I have the dry mouth on Friday? I think for part of Friday, I think I did have the dry mouth. But ever since then, I haven't had the dry mouth like all of today. I haven't had the dry mouth, which is good. But I know they say keep yourself hydrated. That's my stepfather told me, keep yourself hydrated. And I know, and I asked the nurse, not the nurse, the doctor, because they gave me insulin on Thursday. They shot me in the stomach with insulin, I guess to bring my sugar down. And then I asked her Friday, are you going to give me insulin to bring my blood count down? She said no, she doesn't want to do that because she wants to make sure that I see the specialist, because he's the one that's going to give you the right course of action, that whether you need to take insulin shots or not, you know. So and my stepfather, he had this, because I remember when my not my younger brother, my older brother that lived with me before he passed away a few years, he had insulin too. He had insulin things, and I would check his blood in the morning before I went to work, and then if he needed insulin, he would just inject. He got the tubes that would come with it, and he would inject himself in case he needed insulin. I think there was two types of insulin that he had. And my stepfather, I think he still has some of the things, but he doesn't. You don't see him with it as much. But a good thing about my stepfather, like I said, he always keeps track of his health. He's very health conscious and stuff. So anytime he has any kind of, and he keeps up with his appointments and stuff. So which is really good, because he wants to. My stepfather, I think, is almost 90 something years old, but he keeps up with his appointments and stuff. And so that's a good. I'm glad that I have him here with me, because I'm going to lean on his strength. And I know that once they give me a regimen, that, because I don't know if I'm going to be taking insulin at first. Maybe I will. I don't know. So, but we'll see. That's why I'm really anxious to see the specialist, because the nurse, not the nurse, why I keep saying the nurse, the doctor told me on Friday that the specialist would help. She gave me the referral, so I was hoping they'd call me on Friday, because on Wednesday, when I got the referral to for the primary doctor, they called me on Friday, not Friday, on Thursday, and got me at my appointment on the 22nd of May. And so I'm hoping that the doctor on Monday, so that's why I'm going to take off for work Monday. I'm going to call my boss or email him on Monday, because I talked to my boss too on Friday, and he apparently takes metformin as well. So which means he's probably part diabetic as well. So, but my boss, he looks not normal, but I know he has a couple of health situations and stuff. So I'm hoping, I'm going to think positive thoughts. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to talk to my friend Gary, who I work with. It's me, Mark, and him, and we talk together. So I'm going to talk to him on tomorrow. I've been kind of avoiding it, but I know he has insight, because I think he checks his sugar too and stuff, and I think he lives with it and stuff. But I'm going to talk to him to make sure that we get that we're on the same page. And like I said, if I feel, I'm hoping that is that they set up the appointments to see the two specialists either this week coming up, or the week after, that week that on the 22nd that I have to see my primary doctor. So that way I can get it over with. And then, like I said, if I feel better, like I said, I felt better today, and right now I feel better going to, so I can actually, I can physically go to work, and because I don't, as long as I feel like I'm not going to pass out, I don't feel weak like I did earlier in the week, which I don't, like I said, and I'm still not, like I said, I'm not going to the bathroom all the time. I was able to sleep good the last 2 nights. So fingers crossed, and hopefully that's why I want to see the specialist, so he can get my blood count under 100. Because I don't know if maybe I have to initially take insulin to get my blood count under 100, or I mean below 200. That's what my sister told me, below 200, or I have to take a different medication to get it under, regulate it more. But like I said, this metformin I think is really helping me, because it's not, I know they said to take it at night with your dinner, so that way you don't get sick. So I haven't had diarrhea or anything like that, or a headache. And then, like I said, about 10:30, I'm going to take this Flomax. This is what I got from the urologist, and that's supposed to help me stop going to the bathroom. And I think the medicine is actually starting to work, because I've been feeling better, and I haven't had to get up and go to the bathroom constantly. So, which is a great thing in my opinion. Okay, and I just, again, like I said, I'm going to fight this. And like I said in my other video, uh, my mother, I think she had diabetes too. She got diagnosed with diabetes, but and this is no slight on her, she sort of gave up because at the same time that, that she got diagnosed, my brother had, excuse me, had got murdered literally in the street. It happened, and then I think after that, my mother kind of gave up on living. She stayed in her room and stuff, and we brought food to her and stuff, and she didn't get out of the bed and stuff. She did, and I remember too, like I said, we were concerned about her, and we even took her against her will to the hospital. We actually carried her down the 5 flights of steps. I think we on the 4th floor. I think we were on the 4th floor in that building, and we carried her actually down the steps, and she raised holy hell when we got her to the hospital. She cursed us out left and right and said she wanted to go back to her house, and she didn't want to stay in the hospital, and the doctors couldn't do anything because she was of sound mind. So, and her diagnosis at that time wasn't fatal, but she, obviously got worse because she wasn't getting treatment and stuff. And I remember my brother was feeding her and changing her. She started to wear a diaper because she wouldn't get out of bed, and it just got really worse. And it just really broke my heart in a way. And my brother, but I think it was a combination of my brother being murdered too that kind of sapped my mother's will, because my mother was a strong person. She was she gave birth to 11 kids, and my mother was a fighter. But I think after the way my brother got murdered, I think she gave up, and she didn't want to fight it, and it really was quite sad. But so I'm not trying to go that way. I'm trying to fight because I want to live, and if I have to change the way I eat, exercise more, I'm going to stick to whatever that plan he gives me, this doctor gives me. I'm going to stick to it. That means exercise more. I was already exercising like 3 times a week. If I had exercised 5 times a week, I would do that. And I know they said after you eat within that you can should be able to take a walk, a 10 to 12 minute walk to help you with your blood sugar and stuff. I did that earlier actually. After I ate my lunch, I'm gonna probably do that in a little bit. I'm gonna I usually run in place, so to kind of simulate a walking, I'm just walk for like 10 minutes straight. So that's supposed to help too. And then, like I said, I'm gonna take my pill at 10:30, and then at 12:30, I'm gonna have my stepfather take my blood, and then I'm gonna wash up and go to bed. And like I said, I've been sleeping pretty good. Like I said, I just I want to feel more like normal, and I think, like I said, I've been feeling more normal. I think, like I said, Friday into today, I've been feeling kind of normal. Although there was moments today where I did feel kind of, feel like I could take a nap or something. So that's why I want to talk to the doctor so he can explain everything to me and lay it out and just give me the honest, straight dope and stuff. So and whether and I think my brother has the thing in his arm where it monitors his blood sugar, and then if it's too low, I think it automatically injects insulin into you and stuff. So I know there's a lot of ways to do it. And like I said before, also I think Costco has a lot of meals that dinners and stuff you can eat. And I know you're supposed to eat fruit and stuff like tomorrow. See, I've been already changing my diet and the way I've been eating, and I know they said there's going to be an adjustment with your body because I've stopped eating. I'm not eating honey buns and cakes and chips and all that stuff. So there's going to be a period of adjustment where your body's getting used to the new way of eating. So which I think, and I can feel that a little bit. I can feel it in my body. Kind of going through, I guess, withdrawals in a way. Like I haven't been tempted to run out and buy honey buns and all that stuff because I've been mostly focused on learning all I can of what I can eat, what I can't eat, and all that stuff. So I've been kind of focused on that and talking with my brothers and all this stuff and asking, going on, YouTube to, Google to find out, what I can eat, what I can't eat. Then tomorrow, what I'm going to do I got Cheerios, and I think what happened was um was it Thursday or Friday? I think it was Thursday. Actually, I think it was Thursday. I ate I think what happened is I ate Cheerios, but I had it in a regular bowl, and then I looked up and it said that you're not supposed to take like a half a cup of Cheerios or like a full cup of Cheerios, and I obviously had more than that in my bowl when I ate my cereal on Thursday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour tomorrow morning for breakfast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Cheerios. I'm going to take Cheerios and put it in one of these. We got these cups and put it in the cup. And then I got soy milk. I bought soy milk on Thursday. That's another thing that I did on Thursday. I went and bought uh, soy milk. I bought Cheerios. I bought Special K, which I can't eat now. I realized that according to this Google, you can't. Special K is not good enough for you. I think there's brand flakes that you can eat as well, so I may buy that. Probably, if not tomorrow, Sunday, I'll buy some brand flakes. I think, and like you say, you got to eat in portions. I think that's the main thing, thrust of it. You got to eat in portions, and so that's what I'm going to. Like I said, I'm trying to do that, and I'm hoping, like I said, hopefully they'll call me on Monday, the specialist, and maybe they can set the appointments for the week following week, and then I can go to work on, from Thursday to no, from Tuesday to Friday. I can see if I can do that. Uh, like I said, because I'm feeling better. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to the bathroom like I was before. I'm not peeing as much as I'm telling you. I was getting up and peeing all the time, and that was just really frustrating and really annoying. And got to the point I said, I know something's wrong, so I have to go. That's why I went to the City Med place first, then I went to the urologist, then I went to the hospital, and finally I got diagnosed. So hopefully I can, once I get to see those specialists, I can start, getting on with the rest of my life. Because like I said, I want to live. I do not want to die. I'm going to fight this as long as I can. And again, with the help of my brother and my brothers and my sisters and my friends, like I said, I'm going to talk to Gary tomorrow. I'm going to call him and have that conversation. Probably going to have a good long conversation with him because he's, like I said, I think because he's diabetic too. And like I said, he's talked before in the past about having to check his sugar in the morning and stuff. So I don't think it's his diabetes is as bad. Although, like I said, because I know he takes a lot of medicine as well, because he has other ailments as well. So, but I don't think his diabetes is as bad uh, as other people, because I know he talks about testing his blood and stuff and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning, sometime tomorrow, and just let him know. And like I said, my goal, hopefully, like I said, is to, and I'm gonna ask the doctor. I'm gonna call the doctor too, the urologist on Monday, and tell him maybe he can tell me the information over the phone, so I don't have to go all the way down there. Because I'll just explain to him, say, listen, I started feeling worse, and I went to the hospital twice, and they diagnosed me with type 2 diabetes. Is that what you're going to say? Tell me. Maybe you can just tell me over the phone, so that way I don't have to go all the way down there. Because even if I start going back to work on Tuesday, I don't want to have to go on a side quest on Tuesday. This not Tuesday. I think it was Wednesday, the 13th, to see him. Maybe he can just tell me over the phone. I'll explain to the assistant that I already got my diagnosis because I went to the hospital after my visit with him, and maybe he can just tell me over the phone. Or if he wants to talk to the hospital, talk to the people in the hospital. Okay, and I'm waiting currently to see specialists, so I don't see the point of going to see him too as well. If he's going to tell me the same thing I already know, that because I've been to the hospital twice and they diagnosed me, so I want to make sure um, that I'm straight. And also, like I want to say, those nurses and doctors and people that work in the hospital, they're saints. They really are, because like I said, I had to sit in there on on Wednesday, excuse me, from like 1 to like almost 8 o'clock, and they were all professional and really, caring people. Like I said, you got to be a special kind of person, I think, to work with people in the medical field too. And those people were totally professional and totally helpful. And I really appreciate my doctor, who, I forgot her name, who talked to me and stuff, and she explained everything to me really, really well. And then when I went back there on Thursday, not Thursday, excuse me, I went back there on Friday. then and I was sitting in there, and I was basically sitting in the corner there, waiting for my they was feeding me fluids, and I was waiting for my blood sugar to go down, and they were just really professional, and I really appreciate and I was hearing a lot of people going back and forth and being taken care of and stuff. Like I said, you got to be a special kind of person to work in the medical field, and these people were totally professional, and I really truly appreciate them. Okay. So anyway, I will keep you updated on this channel. Like I said, I'm gonna try to watch maybe The Boys tomorrow if I can do it. I'm gonna see. I was trying to, because I download the episodes. I want to watch them, and then maybe editing would take everything take everything off my mind if I was doing something. But I still keep having questions about diabetes in my head, and plus I'm talking to my family, so it kind of it's. I think eventually I will get around to it, but I just want to make sure that I focus on my diabetes. That's why I'm hoping, uh, because I will take 2 weeks off from work if I have to, and I'll just cancel my vacation. Usually I go on vacation in July. I'll just work. I just won't. I'll just take my vacation. I was going to plan on taking 8 days in July. I'll just take it now. And like I talked to my boss, because I was telling him thinking about short-term disability or vacation. And he said no, we can work it out because I don't. I think short-term disability that you have to find out first. So I think it'll probably maybe be vacation. But what I'm hoping is that Monday I will find again. Like I said, I know I'm kind of repeating myself. Hopefully I will find out on Monday, when I can see the specialist. And I may have to. I think I may cancel it because what's the point of seeing the primary doctor? Because the primary doctor, like my brother said, is not the one that you want to deal with. He said you want to talk to the endocrinologist. I think that's the diabetes specialist. That's the person that you want to talk to, and the other person I think is like the dietitian and stuff. He said that's the person that you want to talk to. That's the person you want to have the good relationship with, and make sure they treat you right. He said that's the people that you want to talk to, and I believe my brother. He's been very helpful with discussing this with me, and I really appreciate and love my brother too. I'm glad to have him in my corner and my other family members too, because like I said, I want to live. I don't want to. I'm not going to give in to this, because like I said, my body's adjusting. I think to this not eating and stuff, not eating like I normally eat. So, like I said, I think I threw away some chips that I had in there before, and like I said, today, like this morning, I had an omelet and I had some fruit for breakfast, and some water. And then for lunch, I went out and I got a sandwich from the deli. I got roast beef, which is supposed to be really good for you, Swiss cheese, which is good, and turkey, which is real good. I got that on wheat bread, although I think that bread may not be wheat bread. In fact, what I may do is, because I think I want to get that sandwich tomorrow, I think that bread ain't wheat bread, because I keep saying wheat bread, but I think they just get white bread. I think that looked like white bread to me. I don't trust, because you need 100% wheat bread. That's what you want to eat, or a pumpernickel or something like that. So I may just get the sandwich again tomorrow, but this time just swap out the bread, because I think that bread ain't. I think that bread didn't look like wheat bread. It looked like white bread to me. And these people don't care. They just deli, because I told white wheat and I had a feeling I should have swapped the bread just in case, just to cover myself. But I want to eat the sandwich. But like I said, roast beef is supposed to be good for you, and the turkey and Swiss cheese is supposed to be good. And I got lettuce and a little bit of mayonnaise on that, and I had that, and that was actually pretty good. It filled me up. Okay, and I had that and some salsa, sun chips, which is supposed to be good. I didn't eat all of it. I had like I think 14 chips out of that, because I know they said that's good, but to eat that with carbs and stuff. So I had that for lunch, and that filled me up pretty good. And my stepfather checked my blood, and like I said, once I take my medicine, which I'm going to do in about 5 minutes, take that pill, I'm going to do like a brisk 10-minute walk, because they said within a half hour, an hour of eating, like a nice 10-minute walk would be good for you. So I'm going to do what I usually do. I'm gonna take my pillows, put them on the floor, and then I'm just gonna walk for 10 minutes straight. Walk in place for 10 minutes straight. That's supposed to help, lower your blood sugar rate too. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. So while I'm doing that, this will probably render. And again, this video is. I think maybe I should have put this video up. Now I'm thinking I should take the other one down. I'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll see. I'll put this as part 2. I already changed the title of the other video because I think, like I said, I think like 27 minutes in, I think the sound goes out, which is really, again, I apologize for that. I should have checked it all the way through. I thought, because I thought I edited out the part. There was a part of the video where I got up and it left the chair and then came back, and I thought that was all good. But then I played it back after I uploaded it, and the sound disappeared, I think, after 28 minutes of talking. So I'm hoping this video should be good. I'm going to render this right now. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm trying to think if I should. You know what? I'm just going to upload this video just as it is. I'm just going to put part 2 in the title and just upload this video, so that way I can just upload it straight without having to go through, because the rendering process will probably take, if I try to put the title above it, the rendering, I put it in Wondershare for more, that'll be another hour or stuff, which I don't want to have. I want to get this part up now so people can have it and actually hear what I want to say. And I think I covered everything that I mostly covered in the other video, but this time hopefully you will get it with the sound. So fingers crossed. Okay, and like I said, I will keep you updated once I find out. Hopefully, I'm hoping, that's why I'm going to take off Monday. I'm going to call my boss and find out. Hopefully the specialist will make the appointments, and I hope I don't have to wait till like July or June or something like that for these specialists, because that's really annoying. Like I said, when I first called, the specialist called me on Thursday to make the appointment for my primary doctor. They were saying August. I said, oh my God, not August. Then they said July. I said, oh, not July. And then she said May, and then I knew that my friend was going to be off from work, have half a day on the 14th. And then I said, no, let me, and they move it to the 22nd, because my friend, I know he has a half day on the 14th. So I didn't want to be out of work when he has his half day off, because I know he has things planned for himself. So fingers crossed, either they can make my appointments for later this week, or then maybe I can take off. They can make sometime this week, and the other days I can go to work, and then I can go to work next week. Because like I said, I am feeling better, and it's just a matter of me adjusting my diet, which I think I am doing, and hopefully, like I said, those specialists will, maybe he'll recommend at first I take insulin at first, or initially, or take more of this medication just to see. And I'm just waiting for a plan. So, okay, let me wrap this up. Again, like I said, I'm not going to put the title. I'm just going to upload this straight up. And again, okay, I'll keep you updated as soon as I know anything. Okay, so this is Paul and Trepacer saying so long and take care.